Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things we learned from Leeds United 3, Chelsea 0. An utterly, totally atrocious abomination of a footballing performance. Chelsea were blown off the park. Chelsea were useless out there today. There are absolutely zero positives to take from this performance. 0 points to take away and 0 to look forward to at this moment in time. We've got Leicester next week in the Premier League, but after what I've just seen, any optimism I had from the good result away at Leeds, poor performance I'd say, but good result. The draw against Tottenham it's now been brought up in my mind again because we were so bad today that it tells me that last week, even though we didn't deserve a point, we deserved 3, it tells me that it took a London derby for this team to actually pull their finger out and even give it a go. I would say today, to give Leeds some credit, we were outplayed, we were outran by an astronomical number. Leeds United covered, I think with about 10 minutes to go, they covered more than 10 kilometres more than Chelsea Football Club did. And when you look at the balance of the game, the early stages, they were dominating possession. We came out of the blocks well. We looked as though Sterling could have scored in the opening 2 minutes. But then from that point on, Leeds' pressing, we didn't deal with it. The midfield absolutely overran. I don't think Conor Gallagher was necessarily awful. He won the majority of his duels. Passing accuracy was about, I think, 73%. And Jorginho was just outran, again, which we have seen countless times against teams that press Chelsea high. But overall, I'm fuming with this result, but more importantly, I'm fuming with the attitude. I'm fuming with the overall performance. And then there were players that came off the bench. Hakim Ziyech's looking for a move away. All he wants to do is shoot and hope he puts one top bins for an extra 25 grand a week for the next contract. I'm not necessarily pinpointing Ziyech as the reason we lost. He came on. Pulisic also came on. Nobody changed the game. None of the substitutions made any real positive difference to an overall lacklustre, shoddy Chelsea game. We begin with a red box for the man who got a blue box in last week's video. Blue box is white when it's like a man of the match performance. Koulibaly was sent off today for 2 of the most petulant, pointless, pathetic 3Ps, yellow cards that you can possibly see. Both the first one and the second one was simply, petulant is the main word I would use. The first one with the shirt pull, and then he makes it so obvious that he's tugging hold of his shirt. He wants to give him a little round the neck as well afterwards because the Leeds United players wanted this today. Chelsea arrived at Elland Road and totally underestimated this Jesse Marsch team. And I think after staying up on the final day of last season, the fact that Leeds got 7 points from their opening 3 games, it's not a surprise. When you look at the way they played today, when Chelsea come to Elland Road, Chelsea and Leeds is a long-term rivalry. It's something, a fixture that has history. There is always animosity between the supporters. And today, the Chelsea players kind of used up all of their energy in terms of the big game, like big derby rivalry mentality. We used it all up last week, and Leeds arrived today, and Koulibaly looked out of his depth, which in the first 2 games, we cannot have said that because Koulibaly looked the real deal. But today, against teams that were pressing us, like Spurs last week didn't really offer us anything. They looked as though they didn't have ideas, whereas Leeds looked at the way Spurs played last week, and Jesse Marsch has got them, as he always does, pressing incredibly high, always chasing after the balls. But Koulibaly with a red card, I could have easily given the first box to either him or Edouard Mendy, who is box number 2. Mendy, after what he did today, I don't want to just say that it was anything other than just simply Mendy's mistake was the reason why Chelsea then went ahead and lost this game. But what is he playing at? It's like he thought he was ice skating. You know, when you start doing all these little twists and turns and Cruyff turns with your blade underneath it on the ice and you start sliding and skating around. What was that? It is atrocious for him to even think that he has the footwork. Mendy's footwork has never been his number 1 in his game. He's a shot stopper. He saves shots in the top corner from outside the box, tips them over the bar, gets the crowd on their feet. Edouard Mendy, never, ever try and show us fancy footwork, Cristiano Ronaldo, Man United 2000 and whatever it was style again. I don't want to see it. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and say that with that kind of mistake, if Chelsea are going to keep hold of Kepa needs to come in after that mistake. I don't think he could have done anything about the Rodrigo header. I don't necessarily think there was much he could have done about the third goal in the first place as well. But that mistake is the catalyst to Chelsea falling off, to losing our heads. And it was the catalyst for Leeds, on the flip side, to look at this game and think, well, pressing has managed to get us the first goal. Brendan Aronson was absolutely magnificent for Leeds United in this game today. He presses all the way, and it wasn't the first time. There was a lot of moments where Chelsea were very casual at the back. When Mendy had the ball, there was passing in our own box that we're trying to do little triangles without actually trying to progress the ball up the field. There were moments where Koulibaly, Silva, Cucurella, even Gallagher was also back there as well, Jorginho, where we're trying all of these like fancy little passes, triangles to try and get the ball where? That's what I didn't understand today. Chelsea were not progressive at all, whereas last week we were incredibly progressive. And I think today we can blame the petulance of Koulibaly with a red card, but when he was sent off, it didn't really affect anything anyway. Chelsea were just outplayed, totally outplayed by Leeds United, and Mendy as well. That was the catalyst. That was the moment where as soon as he makes that mistake, I just didn't feel like we were going to get anything from this game. You know those matches where you watch Chelsea and you're like, it's one mistake after like a couple of good minutes at the beginning of the game, and then the other team looks so up for it, and that one mistake, you just know that we're not going to win. Box number 3 is a red for Kai Havertz. I don't know what this guy was doing today. I don't know what his purpose on the pitch was. And I don't mean that in a sense of like, I don't think Havertz deserves to put a Chelsea shirt on. That's an absolutely ridiculous, ludicrous thing to say. But I just didn't see, most of the time he was drifting out wide, and then when he gets the ball, instead of running forward, he kind of cuts back. And then Sterling is like, well, I thought you were going through the middle, geezer. And then he's not in the middle. And then when he gets the ball forward to a Mount or a Sterling or anyone else, he then doesn't go and be the number 9. He doesn't get himself back in the middle. I don't understand. Kai Havertz, in my opinion, is not a number 9. Yes, he might be learning the role, but he's learning the role because we've lost Timo Werner and Lukaku, the 2 recognised strikers at the club, and Armando Broja's not really ready for this first team yet. So Chelsea need to buy a striker, and I think we need to try and find another way to utilise Kai Havertz because he is a good footballer. He's a silky footballer, but he's not cutting it. We don't create enough chances. Yes, you can't blame Havertz. Yes, you can't blame Sterling necessarily for what happened today. But Chelsea, there's a reason why Raheem Sterling scored so many goals at Manchester City every single season. And even if he wasn't going through the middle and it was from out wide, it's because they create chances. Chelsea do not create chances. And I think that is a fundamental issue that we have at the club right now. And I'm not sure what the best way to solve this is. Do we need to get better wingers? Do we need to not put midfielders in right wing positions like Mason Mount when he's actually better playing as a number 8? Or playing as a central midfielder? I don't know what the answer is to this. And I think it does mean we've got to spend money. Box number 4 is simply a red for intensity, which has been, again, a key thing that we've mentioned throughout the video so far, that Leeds were playing high-octane pressing football. Chelsea's intensity was pathetic. We were so slow. The way that we couldn't get the ball out of our feet in the middle. Jorginho, useless. Conor Gallagher, I think statistically had a decent game compared to the rest of the players, but didn't look at his best today whatsoever either. Box number 5 is a box for red again, shock horror, for mentality. Chelsea need to stop going behind in games like this when the crowd is behind the opposition, when the other team are clearly giving it more. We need to dig. We need to look for an extra ounce of energy. We need to look for an extra forward-thinking pass without trying to dilly-dally or dilly-dong, whatever it was that Claudio Ranieri said when Leicester won the league. Who's to say the Leeds might not go and do it? The way they played today, they were excellent. Leicester surviving in an epic escape the season before they won the league. Imagine if Leeds go and do it now. I'm not even going to entertain that. This is just me being just pissed off at the way that we played today. The final box is a yellow. And if there is any positive to take from this game today, maybe I'm really clutching at straws here and I should have just keep going in on the players and anything else that you might want to blame for the reason we lost today. But it's a yellow for Todd Boehly because after what we saw today, yeah, we've spent a lot of money, but this is going to sound to a lot of opposition fans like, oh, look at this Chelsea fan saying we're going to spend more now. Hopefully, as a Chelsea fan, it's not my money. I hope we spend more money now. I hope Todd Boehly realises that what we saw today is a clear lack of quality, a clear lack of strength, in depth at the level we need when we've got injuries, when Tuchel's still trying to incorporate new signings into a different system, or whatever it is we're doing at the moment, or what Tuchel's trying to do. As much as I love the manager, there isn't enough quality in this Chelsea squad. And I think today it showed. Substitutions didn't affect anything, didn't change anything, which is a problem, especially now we can make 5. So it's a yellow for Boehly, because I hope this wakes us up in the final 10 days of this window, or 9 days, whatever's left, to realise that yes, we need Wesley Fofana, yes, we probably need Frankie de Jong, yes, we need Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, or we need to go out for Cristiano Ronaldo because we need a striker. We desperately need a striker, otherwise we're not going to score enough goals, and we're not even going to get top 4 after what I just watched there. Yes, I'm flip-flopping between positivity from last week, but that was a shambles. And, well, I can't wait for Leicester at home next week, but pressure's going to start being on if we don't get a result there. And we know what happens with Chelsea when the pressure goes on. We capitulate. Hope it doesn't happen again. But anyway, let me know the 6 things you learnt from Chelsea's 3-0 defeat at Leeds in the comments down below. Go on, you Blues.